you're good if you can balance out there. Whether one can, should, I don't know. I can tell you that I think an all fruit, raw food diet would be essential for the future Homo sapiens. And I think what we're doing here is actually taking this gigantic downward failing of the cell, and we're all spinning it around and turning the cell backwards and going toward vitality and health again. And that's just a beautiful thing. And I think we're bringing the consciousness of the botanical kingdom to the world too, and saying, look, God doesn't make too many bad things. These herbs are incredible. There's all kinds of herbs out there. Some are toxic. Most of them are butt-kicking good for you. Yep. And I think if Gabriel and all these guys got into a higher level of detoxifying, they'd feel better and look better and do better too. But they're happy where they are, and that's okay. I have changed my smoothie. Let me see here. Who died says that definitely something wrong with these two. As Ann Wigmore reversed her hair color back, you remember I told you this lady that had T-cell lymphoma. She had T-cell lymphoma. And she owned an herb company, and she called me, and T-cell lymphoma scared. I said, listen, use all my herbs and then use yours. Just tear into this. I still have frozen back in the freezer there an immune formula she put together. Whew, that was a good one. And her hair was salt and pepper, white and gray. Then during the 3 or 4 months was all, her hair started turning mostly black, and then a lot of it started turning blonde. And I just had this discussion with one of you YouTubers about blonde. This person had blonde hair till they were like 10 or 12, and then it started turning color. I bet you if they hit this high raw, they're going to have their hair turn back to blonde. Does hair color change with chemistry? Absolutely. You see how it turned white with chemistry? You can turn it back with chemistry, and the question is, how back do we go? And can we get our original, what we're born with, eye color, hair color, do we get that back? I tell you, you guys are going to take this so far out there. I'll be looking down on you guys going, go for it, guys. Kick butt. And she was in her late 80s. Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of incredible things. I'm going to get my butt, guys. Just keep hanging with me. I have changed my smoothies with my 2 teenage daughters. Good. And we are now all cleansing on fruit with a raw salad at night. Hey, you got your daughters to do it. That's incredible, Bev. More power to you ladies. Power to the ladies. I feel so much lighter. Yeah, there you go. And with my 2 girls, 99% raw vegan for 3 years, I think that I was eating too much greens at the end as I hit a plateau. See what I'm telling you, guys? Here's Bev. She experienced the same thing. I'm telling you. A lot of you guys have. I have. Truth is truth. Truth is truth. Bev, got my heart, lady. You were right on here. Question is, can we become super healthy cells on all raw fruit? I firmly believe in all walks of anthropology, chemistry, biochemistry, in every way, common sense, that we're frugivores. Whether or not, because of what, and Brandon's right, a lot of Homo sapiens migrated into northern environments. They had to kill to eat. Now, how bad is it when you have to kill your food? My grandmother canned, but I still remember those cookers, and I'm going, oh man, that's, just as a young child, I'm going, my God, this is killing that food. And I didn't know anything about raw foods, but this is super pressure. And it's like, ooh. So we had to kill our food to have something to put down through the winter. No trucking, anything like that. There's nothing healthy about killing your food before you eat it. So man suffered from that. Ever how small, but stop and look at where humans are now, and that's omnivorish eating. We're all eating omnivorish. Well, not all of us, but certainly there are a lot of people eating very omnivorish, and that's what you get. The omnivorish diet is not for humans. And you can give an omnivorish diet to primates, and you can give an omnivorish diet to herbivores, and they all get sick. And they all go down because the primates The frugivores and the herbivores aren't designed for dead tissue, not designed for cooked. No animal's designed for dead foods, that's for sure. So you're doing good. Let me see here. Need much, let me see what you're saying here. Question, can we become super healthy cells? So fruit, yeah, I go to the wild greens. And yeah, I mean, you can have, there's nothing wrong with having greens. There's nothing wrong with that. But you should have a dominance of fruits and berries with some greens. So I like what you're doing. It's a diet I've been promoting is fruit all day long, fruit, berries, and melons. And all you want, and at night have you a large salad. I used to promote fruit, salad, fruit. I got to thinking, I just talked with a great guy up there in Alberta, and it was like he kind of fell off the wagon here and everything. And it's hard. It's minus 31 degrees right now there. So yeah, it's a little tough. But if you can do raw through the day, especially your fruits through the day, when it's light, the sun, you're happy, everything's good. And then at night, when things kind of hit you, dark, everything, emotions, family, then you do your salads. If you have to have some steamed vegetables, maybe a baked sweet potato in the cold. But if you're going after cancer, tumors, diabetes, going after any problem in the human body where acids are breaking you down, then you want to get serious for a while and get that out. And then balance out if you want. I mean, no one's over anybody with a club here. But I like what you're doing. I mean, I love this idea of the green drinks on top of the raw fruits. That's fine with me. I'm good with that. I go wild greens too. I'm thinking, you got a good awareness there, sweetheart. Most of you guys have a very high awareness. I'm privileged to be in your presence. See, neighbors wonder when we are going to cut our grass. We could go out and cut it and start eating on it. That'd freak them out. I see all these survival shows, you know, and I'm kind of a survivalist kind of guy, so I watch all the survival shows. And I look at how they eat all the grub worms and how they eat all the nasty stuff. And here's all the leaves and the grasses and everything for them to eat. I'm going, you're missing the bulk of nutrition. You're eating stuff. Now, my backyard is full of dandelions. How interesting is that? Liver, root, dandelion root, liver, pancreatic, dandelion leaves, adrenal, kidney. Wild lettuce, ooh, that is good. And other wild plants. Oh man, honey, eat up. And our wild lettuce is all throughout the... Have fun with that, absolutely. Have that, have your fruits, your berries. That's health right there. But in detoxification, we just kick up the fruit a little more. I don't care if people have... In today's world, till we get our cells regenerated, our youth regenerated, fruitarian lifestyles might be a little more difficult with people, but if you have some greens on top of a high fruit, berry, and melon diet, you're living on the top of the mountain. I'm not going to argue over a few green drinks and something like that. No, and I like alfalfa. Another one of my power plants. But in detoxification, you're using greens to build, stay healthy, bones and stuff. Sure, good, little bit's okay. But brain and nerve, moving limbs, fruit and berry, melon. So good way. You're doing good. I think you're doing really good. We don't water, we let the rainwater. Yep, good. What causes fistula? My sister has them, and they cut 2 out already, which suggests she could leave them and is pouring out toxins. You hit it right on the head, sweetheart. Lymphatic. She just recently quit wheat. Listen, Bev, you're my kind of woman. The gluten is removed in distillation process of the alcohol. Only true is distilled spirits, though. No things like beer, etc., that are fermented. Yeah. This is Rosalind. When it is that cold, raw food is just not fun. We in Quebec City, I just talked up there. I know it. Needs some warm. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. So that's when you do your baked sweet potatoes, you do your steamed vegetables. Obviously in the winter, you're kind of pulled toward a little more proteinish type thinking and stuff like that. That's what makes it a little more difficult in detoxification. So find a good balance for yourself. Use warm herbal teas to warm up with, vegetable soups, no meat stock, and no cooked tomatoes. But you can make a nice stock with a vegetable soup with pearled onions and fresh corn, and don't overcook it where you're still crisp. Green beans, asparagus, you can put a little sweet potato if you want in that. I mean, it's endless. The peas, I love peas. Put peas in there, and make yourself a good vegetable soup. But boy, be careful, because if you're used to raw and you eat a big bowl of soup, you're going to go, whoop. It's like, yeah. But, Mardanina, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sweetheart. Can you further explain what you mean by balance? Is it 50% fruit and the rest raw, but nuts, seeds, etc.? No. Do you mean some cooked? You often mention Dan. I'm not sure what you think he is doing wrong. Well, balance is when and it's hard for a person to know when they're getting out of balance. If you're more aware, you know when you're getting out of balance. But sometimes you don't unaware you're getting out of balance, and sometimes when you're pumping too much raw and you're too hyper focused on that direction, it changes you. And then there's just a lot of changes you can go through. If you're not careful, your ego can get pretty far out there, and you got to bring it back and put it in the corner and only use it when needed. So the id that you have to use if you want to grow spiritually isn't the ego id. It is consciousness id. If at all there's a separation, there should never be a separation. Consciousness, there's one. There's no separation between me and you. There is no me, my little self, and me, my higher self. I am my higher self. But, people, I mean, Dan himself is taking a little sabbatical, which is good. Needs to. And we all need to. Balance out a little bit. You do too much. And I say this about raw, and Rosalind was talking, you can rat out with it. Because we still have a maturity to grow spiritually in our emotions and in our thoughts. And when we're powering out up here and we're used to operating down here, you can unsettle yourself. And if you let your bodies get too much control, then you get out of balance. So it's really hard to describe that. Balance would be to have some vegetables once in a while if you're all fruit. If you're all raw, balance might be having some cooked vegetables sometime. In the winter, you're going to have to stay there. I don't do well in cold on all raw, and most of you don't either. It's hard to do that. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just we're a tropical species. And raw is more sub and tropical areas. You guys that live up north are monsters. You guys are incredible beings that are sitting there and eating raw during the cold. I applaud every one of you. You guys are incredible beings that are up there fighting the fight. And that is just being able to eat your food that makes you healthy and struggle with the environment. So I take my hat off to every one of you. My heart's with every one of you. I can't live up there and do that. I just not happy to do that. So I applaud you all for doing that. Monster meaning powerful and strong, not monster negative. Hey Dano, what your feeling is on tattoos? Well, I'm not really a tattoo lover. I remember one guy, I had to start an IV in him, and he had everything tattooed but one little part of his lower back. I mean, everything literally was tattooed. I said, I don't, I hated to start an IV in him.